Hello everyone, my name is Panomsak Mimon from the School of Physics, Suranari University of Technology or SUT. Today, I'm going to present our research on the development of optical coherence tomography or OCT for aquatic toxicology assessment. Our goal is to introduce how photonics-based imaging systems can advance environmental health monitoring, especially in Thailand. This work is part of our broader vision using photonic science and technology to support sustainable living. At SUT, our photonics research contributes to many Sustainable Development Goals or SDG, ranging from health and environmental protection to sustainable food production, climate action, and innovation ecosystems. In environmental applications in particular, optical tools allow us to detect contamination early, monitor ecosystem more effectively, and support better informed decision making. Importantly, achieving this goal uh, requires strong collaboration, what the SDG refer to as partnerships for goals. That is exactly why I'm here today to share our work and explore opportunities for working together in the future. And of course, I already have a long-term collaboration with Dr. Fernando here, who is our point of contact in Peru. On this slide, you can see several examples of our research activities across the 5 photonics clusters. For today's presentation, I will focus specifically on the environmental health cluster, where our goal is to safeguard our ecosystem, especially freshwater system, from chemical contamination. Within this cluster, OCT for aquatic toxicology plays a central role. It allows us to perform non-invasive real-time imaging of embryos, fish, and other aquatic organisms that expose to pesticides. This capability is crucial for understanding early developmental change and sublethal effects that traditional methods may not detect. This slide shows the diversity of photonics applications within our research ecosystem at SUT: imaging, sensing, metrology, optical systems design, wildlife monitoring, AI and deep learning development, and many more. You can find more information on these activities by scanning the green QR code on the left corner of this slide. OCT fits naturally here. It is an imaging and metrology tool that bridges uh, biology, materials, and environmental studies. It allows us to visualize microstructures in living organisms without harming them. OCT is best known for its clinical applications, especially in ophthalmology and dermatology. In our lab, we took this well-established technology and extended it into aquatic toxicology, which is a completely new direction for OCT. The strength of OCT lies in its ability to produce micrometer resolution cross-sectional images of living tissue that quickly and without causing damage. This allows us to quantitatively track subtle morphological changes that occur when aquatic organisms are exposed to contaminants such as glyphosate or 2,4-D. This combination of high-resolution, non-invasive imaging and quantitative capabilities makes OCT a powerful and truly versatile tool that far beyond traditional medical imaging. Now, to understand why this problem matters, let's look at global pesticide usage that I took from Worldometer website. As shown here, countries like China and United States and Brazil lead the world in the total pesticide consumption. Three of them together consume uh, more than 50% of the overall consumption. Thailand also ranked 18, which is surprisingly high as we are just a small country, which reflects the heavy reliance on agrochemicals in our country. Interestingly, although Peru used far less pesticide in total, the consumption per hectare of cropland is almost the same as in Thailand. This tells us that pesticide intensity, not just total volume, is a global issue. Overall, these patterns show that aquatic ecosystems around the world are exposed to significant levels of agrochemicals. This motivates our team to develop monitoring tools that are fast, portable, and field-ready so we can evaluate environmental impact directly where contamination occurs. Pesticide classes. Herbicides dominate, with nearly 2 million tons used globally. Their increasing trend from 1990 to 2020 indicates escalating ecosystem risk. Glyphosate and 2,4-D are among the most commonly applied herbicides worldwide and also in Thailand, which is why our research focuses on these two chemicals. The contamination pathway is straightforward. Herbicides are non-selective pesticides. Their residuals enter soil and water, eventually affecting non-target organisms such as fish, crabs, and snails, shrimps, and many other kinds of freshwater species. Multiple toxicology studies confirm that these chemicals negatively impact aquatic life. This is where OCT help us evaluate early stage and sublethal effect without destructive the sample. WHO reported that glyphosate alone does not have a direct effect on humans. However, in agricultural use, glyphosate is commonly mixed with surfactants, chemicals that reduce surface tension, and this formulation can significantly increase toxicity. Our collaborators in Thailand have analyzed glyphosate and 2,4-D toxicity using classical methods such as the microscope, histology, immunohistochemistry, and even SEM or TEM imaging for super high resolution. These methods are powerful, but they require fixation, staining, and destructive sample preparation. OCT complement these, uh, these traditional techniques by providing non-destructive live imaging, which enables them to perform longitudinal study on the same organism and they detect structural change over time. Our first effort to use OCT as a new tool in aquatic toxicology began in 2020 and the findings were published in 2022. In this study, we demonstrated that the use of OCT to evaluate glyphosate effect in hybrid catfish we image the brain, gill, and liver tissues and compare the OCT imaging results with the classical histology. OCT successfully identified structural abnormalities associated with the herbicide exposure, demonstrating its strong potential as an alternative and complementary toxicology tool alongside with the histology and immunohistochemistry. This slide compares several key performance characteristics of OCT, histology, and immunohistochemistry that published in the paper I mentioned before. OCT is non-toxic, require no chemicals, and can provide real-time imaging with about 10 micrometer resolution in both the lateral direction and depth direction, and is relatively provide large field of view as compared to the histology, ACM or TEM. Histology and immunohistochemistry can offer much higher resolution than OCT, but they are very slow process and they are destructive and also rely on expensive chemical processing and also expensive machines. Therefore, OCT provides a unique balance of speed, safety, and in vivo capability, making it an excellent complementary tool for toxicology study. In 2024, we developed a portable OCT system that's specifically designed for aquatic toxicology applications. This one have been published in Optical Engineering. It features a compact design, high-speed scanning, and a low-cost system under 10,000 US dollar. This prototype allows us to image embryos and fingerlings directly on site at fish farm or in natural river environments, significantly improving accessibility for real-time environmental monitoring in the future. And this slide shows how the OCT prototype visualized early developmental stage under herbicide exposure. From gastrula to organ formation stages, we observe structural deviation in embryo exposed to the 2,4-D chemicals. These abnormalities appear long before they become visible externally, highlighting OCT sensitivity to early toxicity. After many trials across the different freshwater species, we learned that OCT is particularly well suited for studying pathological change during the early stage of development, such as eggs, embryos, and early fingerlings in some species. In this example, we assess the effects of glyphosate on golden apple snail eggs. Using on-fast, cross-sectional, and 3D OCT imaging together, we were able to quantify developmental delays and structural malformations. Our hatching rate analysis also revealed a clear dose-dependent decline. This further confirming OCT value as a quantitative biological assessment tool for aquatic toxicology. However, we also found that OCT is not well suited for adult animals, especially those with hard shells or scales, because the light cannot penetrate deeply through their outer layers. In this case, we need to harvest organs and perform OCT imaging ex vivo. which is work as well. In this example 5, we investigated the toxicology of 2,4-D in rice field crabs. This crab is widespread in Thailand, especially in the rice field across the country, which make them a keystone species in Thai freshwater ecosystem. By combining OCT with biochemistry, hematology, and histology, we observe significant morphological and physiological impacts. Notably, ACHE activity decreased with increasing herbicide concentration, indicating disruption of the nervous system of this animal. This slide demonstrates example of our workflow from sample preparation to OCT imaging, also 3D rendering and depth resolve analysis. In this example, carp embryos exposed to glyphosate show clear structural difference at multiple depths. This detail cannot be captured with any standard 2D microscopy. This illustrates that OCT can still penetrate certain small fish species, allowing us to visualize internal structure without dissection. In this slide is a summary of our entire research ecosystem. This visual map highlights our integrated approach, combining photonics and toxicology to support sustainable environmental monitoring. We plan to perform OCT imaging and analysis in many other freshwater species, and also on other kind of toxic chemicals to explore the possibility, the potential of OCT in this field. And the good news is that we also strong collaborate with Dr. Fernando to design and build OCT system for these aquatic animal applications, and this system will be available for the researcher in Peru not later than next year, I believe. And finally, I would like to acknowledge all collaborators, funding agencies, and students who contribute to this work. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm happy to take the questions.